Hi everyone, and welcome to day 5 of the step-by-step florals challenge. Before we get into drawing florals, we are going to have some fun today with some abstract compositions. Alright, let's get started. So I'm going to go back to my gallery, step-by-step florals, and choose one of the artworks. And so today is really all about experimenting and just having a little bit of fun with different brushes, colors, blend modes and layers. So pretty much what we're going to do today is just practice what we've learned in the last 4 days and have a little bit of fun. Let's do some painting. Unfortunately, with Procreate, the colors don't flow into each other as nicely as you would have seen with one of Stephanie's videos. So we're going to have to fake things a little bit. And let's just see how we can do this. The first thing I'm going to do is import a watercolor paper background. I've got some that I have saved here in my Dropbox and that I'm just going to load up. You can grab these off Google or Creative Market or any of these places that sell digital files, and you can see there's a nice watercolor type texture. And so now what we're going to do here, we're going to set up the file. I'm going to move this paper a little bit higher up, and I'm going to change the blend mode to multiply, and then I'm going to duplicate the paper and then change the blend mode of the second one to color burn. And the important thing here is that we always want to draw on the layer below, because as you remember from our blend mode tutorial, the blend modes only affect the layers that are below. So now what we can do here as well, to be a little bit organized, we can group this and rename it to textures, so in case we want to add some new ones, they're nicely grouped here. And then we can do some painting here. So the first thing I'm going to do is choose my brush, and I'm going to choose the soft brush, and then I'm going to create some color. And if you have an Apple Pencil which is pressure sensitive, you can try applying a little bit more pressure and then also drawing a little bit more lightly like this, so you can see the difference. Just sort of paint away for a little bit. And then, as you remember, we want to change the blend mode to multiply here as well. And then we're going to create a new layer, change the blend mode to multiply, choose a different color, and just see how we can make these two blend together. So I just keep painting away, and you can see here now that where the two layers overlap, it creates this nice beautiful orange blend. And again, just try painting a little bit lighter, and then you can press down a little bit harder and just see the effect that you can create with this. And then I always recommend also creating a new layer every time you start a new color. That way, if you want to change something, you're not restricted and you don't lose the previous work you've already done. So now let's see how this blends with our green color swatch. And so you can sort of create pretty nice blends already just doing this. Now, as promised, I am going to show you this little brush here that I have. It's the Sensu Artist Stylus, and as I mentioned in my intro video, this is not pressure sensitive. So I'm going to show you what this means. So now if I start painting on my canvas, you can see how the color is just applied evenly. There is no, if I press harder, it doesn't care. It just keeps painting the way it always did. So it's fun to use, but maybe not as useful for what we're going to do with our florals. But you know, you can still try it out. Now let's see, we're going back to yellow, and then we can just paint like this. So it's kind of fun, but I still prefer the Apple Pencil, of course. So you can just try this out if you like. I just wanted to show you. and to make sure that you're not going to go rush out and buy this, because see how I can't even make it lighter either. So now if I'm going to use my Apple Pencil again, you can see how I don't put a lot of pressure on it. I can control the amount of colour that gets applied to my canvas a lot more detailed. So now I press harder, there's more colour, and then I want to fade it out a little bit, so I can do that, which I won't be able to do with the brush. This just paints like this. Alright, so today's exercise is creating an abstract background. You can do anything you like. You could also try some different brushes here that we have in Procreate. One of the brushes I quite like actually is in the painting folder, and it's this Nico roll brush. I think this is quite cool actually. I do some of the backgrounds that I use for my lettering with this. So if we create a new layer and then set it to the maximum size, and just take the opacity down a little bit, and then you can create these sort of cool paint color effects. And what's kind of cool if you do this, and then make a new layer and paint some more, you can see how the colors blend really nicely like this. And then of course we can now try out the different blend modes as well. So you could see this is really now apparent how the blend modes work differently when you do this. Let's try some other ones. And so it's very different the effect you get when you do this. And going back to normal. So now another thing you can do, which I think is kind of cool, so let's choose another color. Let's see, I usually like using a kind of a teal blue this as well. That can actually look quite nice. And then now let's use our pencil again and create some more colors like this. So let's see, we kind of like this. So now we are going to group the layers like this, and to preserve the layers that I already have, what I like to do as well is I duplicate this whole group, and then I turn the visibility of my old group off, and then here I'm going to flatten the whole group. So now you can see I've only got one thumbnail, and all the layers that I have created previously are merged into one. But if I, for whatever reason, if I want to go back to my previous ones, I can just turn the visibility of this layer off and then go back to the group, and I've still got all the individual layers in case I want to change something on one of these. So what is pretty cool as well is changing some of the way the color appears. So let's say you don't really like the red or the blue, or whichever color you have chosen, you can actually change them. And to do that, you go into your adjustments panel, and so the first thing you can do is choose just the whole spectrum of color differently. So you can use this slider here, and you can see how the colors change depending on where it sits on the scale here. So this is pretty cool. This looks neat. And then this one here is to change the saturation. I wouldn't go overboard with the saturation. This can create some weird effects sometimes. If you like a little bit more pastel color, you can decrease, or you can just make it black and white as well. And then the lightness and darkness slider is this one here. Right, once you're happy with it, you can tap the adjustments icon again, and now I want to show you the color balance. So with the color balance, this lets you choose different colors individually. And one of the things to notice is that there is 3 different sliders here, or three different icons. This one would only affect the light colors, this one affects the mid-tones, and this one affects the dark tones. So now I've got the light ones, the light colors selected, and if I change the sliders here, you can see how I can make it more pink. And then I want to change this one to maybe be a little bit more green, and this one like this. And then you try out the mid-tones, and this one, and then the dark tone. So this probably doesn't do too much because there's not too many dark colors here. Yep, you can see I can slide and it doesn't do anything, and neither does this. So now I'm happy with it, and I have completely changed the look of this composition just by adjusting some sliders, and this is actually really fun to experiment with as well. You can just go and try it out yourself and have fun with it. Right, so this was our abstract painting lesson for today, and I promise tomorrow we will get into some actual florals. Have fun, and I'll see you tomorrow.